The flipped class requires us to fundamentally rethink two important aspects of education: space and time.
So let's talk a little bit about space. If you think about the way classrooms have been set up traditionally, they had a chalkboard in the front of the classroom. Then those chalkboards became whiteboards, and then those whiteboards became overhead projectors, which then turned into LCD projectors that we hung on the ceiling. But really the classroom in all of those situations is a presentation station. It's not a center of learning. When we rethink the space of the classroom, we're reorienting how the classroom is used, where the front of the classroom is or where the front of the classroom isn't. So is this for you? Will a flipped classroom work in your subject area and grade level? We think the answer is yes, and here's why. Can you flip a class like English that isn't real content heavy? The answer is yes. Think about the mechanics of language, the mechanics of grammar, the mechanics of writing. Those are the type of instructional things you could put on a video so that you can get your time back in your class to actually get the students involved in the writing process. You could also use those videos as a remediation tool for students who come to your class without the prerequisite skill.
Can you flip a physical education class? Of course you can. So make a video on how to serve a volleyball so when the kids come to class, they can serve volleyballs. Or how to play a particular game so that when they come to class, they can play the game. This frees up class time for teachers who are bogged down with too much explanation and rule giving.
What about students who learn at a pace that's different than the pace that the teacher is teaching? They could be a student who learns very, very quickly, or a student who might learn a little more slowly. Well, having a flipped classroom in place gives the students control over the pace at which they're exposed to content.
A student can watch a video at double speed and hear the content faster.
Or a student can also pause and rewind if they need to hear content slower or multiple times. What we want to encourage you to do is to think about ways you can get your students engaged in some of the higher order thinking, the higher tiers of Bloom's taxonomy, the analysis and application and evaluation and creation components, all within the context of the content that they've already learned before they come to class in better ways with an expert in the room, a content area expert and a learning expert, and that expert is you. In short, a flipped classroom is a way for teachers to transition into the role of facilitator, becoming that guide on the side. We really see the flipped classroom as a transitional tool for educators to move away from being the center of attention in the classroom and move that attention onto students and onto the learning that's happening in those classrooms.